Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. My name is Dan and the whole pre-season has come down to this. This is the moment. All of our research, all of our stats collecting, all of our tinkering has come down to the final team selection video for game week 1. How excited are you guys? I'm pretty hyped. I hope you guys are pretty hyped as well, because I'm going to be revealing my final team. This is my team. This is my game week 1 team. I can't wait to show you guys. There's going to be a couple of surprises in there if you've been following my videos so far this preseason. But hopefully we're going to nail it. Hopefully we're going to nail it and get the perfect game week 1 team, as the one we've all been dreaming of. Hopefully this is the one. Before we get started into the new season, this video, the team selection videos for hopefully the whole season, but certainly for the first few months of the season, are sponsored by OneFootball, a great website / mobile app for checking those scores for the football games. It's completely free, and there's plenty of other cool features on there as well. You can check out the news, you can check out the stats. Really useful if you can't watch every single game in the world of football, which I know none of us can. You need an app like OneFootball to sort you out. So go check it out, completely free, link at the top of the description. Are you ready, guys, for the final team? Here it goes, guys. If you do like this video, please do click the like button. Massively helps out the channel. And of course, subscribe. I will be doing these team reveal videos every single week throughout this season, showing you my team ahead of the deadline. I know we're recording this pretty late on in the week. I wanted to get this final team as accurate as possible. I know a few other people do their team reveal videos like a few days before the deadline and end up changing it completely. I am going to try and do these videos as late to the deadline as possible to make sure we can get a really accurate team, to show you exactly what I'm doing. But guys, okay, right, let's get some players on the pitch. Let's get some players on this pitch. So we're going to start off in goal with Sanchez. The goalkeeper who's been in my team the whole preseason. He is, in my opinion, the best 4.5 million goalkeeper option. I think you should be going for a 4.5 million goalkeeper. Every single year, a 4.5 million goalkeeper becomes the top scoring goalkeeper, certainly in the last couple of years. Martinez last year, Pope the year before. This season, could it be Sanchez? It should be Sanchez. At the start of the season, Brighton have magnificent fixtures all the way till game week 8. So many opportunities for clean sheets. And last season, Brighton were just a great team for getting clean sheets. And, their defensive record is just phenomenal. And they don't concede many big chances at all, which means clean sheets are just come their way. They just land at their feet. So hopefully, as long as they can beat the XG stats and the X clean sheet stats, then going to be loads of clean sheets for Sanchez. Moving on into defence, Alexander-Arnold, another mainstay, another essential player in my opinion. Got to be done. He's got to be had. The second half of last season, he was like one of the top scoring players. I think I looked at a data set of something like the final 15 game weeks of last season, and Alexander-Arnold was literally the top scoring player in the entire league. He was so creative. He was taking so many shots. He was looking so good. And if he starts this new season the same way he ended last season, which we expect that he will in terms of his attacking output, then this is going to be phenomenal. We've also got Liverpool with all of these defenders coming back. Van Dijk coming back. Gomez is coming back. Matip is coming back. Konate is now in the team as well, which means Henderson and Fabinho, they can move and become midfielders again. And Liverpool are going to be back to their defensive best. I believe it. So not only clean sheets, but we can get the essential attacking output for Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he's going to get another 200-point season. There you go. I've said it right now, guys. He is getting it. He's going to get us some points. So he's in the team. We've got Luke Shaw next. Really like Luke Shaw's price at 5.5 million. I think he's the best 5.5 million option, full stop, in the entirety of FPL defenders this season. I think he looks so good for that price. Obviously, Manchester United have got Varane coming into their defence, which is going to improve them defensively. I don't think they were a particularly bad defence anyway, so clean sheets going to look good for Manchester United this season, that's for sure. But that's for sure, no pun intended. But also, we have got Shaw's attacking output as well. He is one of the most creative defenders. He is on some set pieces as well, which is really nice. So if you get the occasional corner that Shaw takes, a nice header in from Maguire or Cavani or whoever else scores headers in the Manchester United team, you're going to get more points for sure, and he's going to get bonus points as well. So because of his creativity, the key passes that he puts in, the shots that he takes, the crosses that he puts in, the set pieces that he takes, so much to love, guys, so much to love. And he's playing for a big team as well. And finally, we're going to finish off the defence with Tsimikas. Wow, Tsimikas, 4 million. 4 million for a Liverpool defender who is going to start the season. A lot of people are kind of a little bit skeptical about this one. I'm going to try and convince you otherwise, to be honest, and I'll tell you why I really like Tsimikas. So first of all, Tsimikas, pre-season, fantastic. Been one of Liverpool's best players in the pre-season. He's 3 assists, I think he's got in the pre-season. He has kind of nailed himself on as the left back in this Liverpool team in the absence of Robertson. So he is going to be, whilst Robertson is injured for the first few game weeks, Tsimikas is going to be the one. He's going to be the defender on the left-hand side. And we know he's capable of assists. We've seen that in pre-season. A lot of people were saying, okay, what about James Milner? James Milner is not going near the left-back position, guys. First of all, James Milner is a midfielder. Second of all, Liverpool don't really have many midfielders ready to go right now. Obviously, like Henderson is not quite ready. Curtis Jones is not quite ready. Wijnaldum is gone. Is Thiago going to be ready? There is holes in the midfield. So we are kind of expecting Milner not only to well, yes, fair enough, he might start, but he's not going to be starting at left back. And because of Tsimikas, giving Liverpool some confidence in the pre-season, he is going to be the starting left back. And also, perhaps a lot of the reason why he didn't deputise in last season very much in the left back role is because Liverpool didn't have those other defenders to cover him, because Tsimikas' defensive game is not amazing. So you do need those players like Matip, Gomez, Van Dijk, Konate to cover him defensively, which Liverpool quite simply didn't have last season. So it's going to be a different ball game this season, a different ball game as well. And for 4 million to get a Liverpool starting left back, incredible. It really is incredible. And the worst case scenario is I have a 4 million player that I have to leave on the bench. I would have that anyway. So fair enough, it blocks off bringing in another Liverpool player, but I'm not really that bothered about getting another Liverpool player anyway. Things could change. In an emergency, we have the wild card, of course, but for now, confidence in Tsimikas. But we'll move on to another Liverpool player who is Mohamed Salah. There's not going to be any surprises here that he is in my team. He's in everyone's team, so we don't need to talk about this too much. But love the fixtures for Liverpool. Love Salah as a player. He is one of the top scoring players in FPL every single year. I don't think anyone has scored more FPL points over the last 5-6 years total than Mohamed Salah. So he is just a player that you stick in your team. You've captained him most game weeks, and a headache gone. So he's going to be a really important player. But the next player might surprise, if you've been following my videos, this might surprise you, but I have finally caved in. I said all pre-season that I was going to cave in when it comes to this time, but yes, we have got Bruno Fernandes in the team finally. Yes, guys, I've given up. I've accepted it. I got to have Bruno Fernandes. And no, I don't think Bruno Fernandes is going to have as good of a season as he did last year. And honestly, I don't like that his price has gone up as well. But at the end of the day, here's Bruno Fernandes. He was a points magnet last year. He is one of a few like fit and ready to go Manchester United attackers, and with Manchester United's opening run of fixtures, really good fixtures for those Manchester United attacking players. So we do want to get in on the Manchester United attack, and the safest way to do that is to go for a player like Bruno Fernandes, see if he performs, and if he doesn't perform, that's fine. It's an easy transfer down to someone like Son or Mahrez or Sterling, or across to KDB. Really easy transfer to one of the other premiums, or it ties up the money really nicely as well if you want to get in a Lukaku or a Kane when they are integrated into their new team, assuming Kane moves as well. Really easy transfer to make there as well, because you can just switch out Bruno down to a cheaper midfielder like a Rafinha, for example, and then you can transfer one of your cheaper strikers up, move them up to a Kane or a Lukaku. Really easy, really flexible. So for all of those reasons, I get it. Bruno is a good player to have, so I'm going to have him. It's definitely the safe way to go, so we're going to be doing it. But we are going to be doubling up on the Manchester United attack with Mason Greenwood, and I do truly believe that in the opening run of fixtures, particularly whilst a lot of players for Manchester United aren't quite ready to go, Greenwood is going to outscore everyone at Manchester United. That's what I believe. Greenwood potentially playing striker in first game in the absence of Cavani, unless Martial plays there. I mean, it's possible, I guess, but you could say that Martial perhaps plays on the left, Greenwood as the striker in this opening game, and then who knows who's going to be on the right. Maybe Greenwood is the guy on the right, maybe Greenwood is the guy on the left. Because of his versatility, he can kind of fill in anywhere, so he is going to get game time. And every time he does get game time, every time he does play regular football, he scores on the same level as the premium players. He really does. So he's a player that you've got to own in the key moments of the season, and I do believe that right now is a key moment to own him, just because he kind of has to play given the circumstances at Manchester United. So yeah, Greenwood is in the team, and we're going to finish off the midfield with Benrahma, which is a really exciting pick, a really exciting pick, just because I think he's going to be the new Lingard. What Lingard did last season, where he was just, the centerpiece, the talisman of the team. Benrahma in friendlies seems to be the talisman of this West Ham team. And if you've watched highlight reels of Benrahma pre-season, or watched highlight reels of West Ham this pre-season, you will see that it's all about Benrahma. It's the Benrahma show. No other player gets any screen time whatsoever, because Benrahma he seems to be playing with confidence. He's taken a lot of shots on in this preseason. We know he's an incredibly talented football player. It's just a case of when is he going to pop off? Well, now is a good time as ever. He's got the confidence from preseason. He seems to be an essential attacking midfielder. He's going to play behind the striker, fill in where Lingard was doing well last year. Benrahma is going to take that role on, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he's going to bang and be an absolute gem at 6 million. What a bargain price for him as well. So let's move on to the forwards. We've got Danny Ings himself. Since his transfer to Aston Villa, I am absolutely loving him. You guys probably know this if you've watched these videos before. Absolutely loving the idea. He scored in his debut game. There's so much creativity around him. Buendia when he's fit. We're going to have Bailey when he comes into the team. Watkins is decent for an assist as well. So Ings is basically just going to become this, the pinnacle, the point of all Aston Villa attacks, whereas there wasn't quite as much creativity in the Southampton team, Ings had to generate a lot of it himself. So this year, he's going to be able to focus on finishing, getting into the right positions and scoring goals, because he's incredibly, incredibly clinical in front of goal. And I think he can, easily have another, we had a 20-goal season a couple of seasons ago. There's no reason why he can't replicate that again this season in this Aston Villa team that looks really, really ambitious. And yeah, we're all expecting really big things from them. Moving on into Wilson, my favourite striker of the preseason anyway, who I've been hyping up all preseason as my favourite striker to go for, my favourite forward. Just because when he plays, his points per game is just incredible, because when Newcastle score, it's all about the Wilson. It's all about the Wilson show. When you watch Newcastle play, Wilson is the best player in their team by miles, by so much. He's just such a good player. And because of that, when he plays, when he scores, when he assists, he hoovers up those bonus points as well. And when Wilson scores, it's an 8-pointer, it's a 9-pointer instantly. Whereas some of the other strikers, they've got a lot of other players chipping in around them. Wilson, he dominates. And I like the mood around Newcastle. I liked how they played second half of the season when they had the new coaching at their team. I think they're going to start really well with some really nice fixtures as well. And we'll finish off the attack with Antonio for West Ham, kind of because it feels like a lot of the other more experienced managers are going for Antonio. I do prefer Wilson. If I had to choose one, I went with my heart, I would choose Wilson, but Antonio was a great pick as well, especially when he is fit, and especially looking at these West Ham fixtures, it really really looks good. And we know how clinical and how much of a fox in the box, a great finisher that Antonio is, scoring with his head, scoring with his feet, generating the power and pace, and yeah, just a fantastic player who will score goals, particularly in this nice run of fixtures that West Ham have. Now, before we move on to the bench, I know your immediate thoughts are, oh my god, what is this, hamstring FC? Those for the front three forwards, there's going to be some injuries there, right? Okay. Kind of get it. I understand the risk. Now, first of all, I think Danny Ings, the idea that he's injury prone, I think that's a bit of a myth. A couple of seasons ago, he played pretty much every single game for Southampton. Last season, yes, he had a little bit of injury problems, but he still managed to play sort of 25 games in last season. So that's a decent amount of games. And obviously, before that, he had a really long injury layoff, which I think people think of when they think of Danny Ings. But more recently, last 2 seasons, he has not had any more injuries than any other player in his position. Like, he's not had an abnormal amount of injuries over the last 2 seasons. So I do think it's a bit of a myth when people say that that Danny Ings is injury prone, no more than anyone else. As with Wilson and Antonio, yeah, I do kind of get the point that they are injury prone, and it is risky to go with both of them. But these are both players that you would say when they're fit, you put them in your team. They are both fit, so put them in your team. And I know it's not quite as simple as that, and you should probably, well, you should consider mitigating the risk by only going for one of them and not the other. But this is one of the risks I want to take in my team. I don't want to just my whole team to be super safe. It would be very easy to do that, but if you want to, push yourself that extra little bit, if you bet on something like both Wilson and Antonio staying fit for the first however many game weeks, then that's going to be really good. And I'm kind of expecting that I'll be using my wild card before game week 10, game week 15 anyway. So if there was an injury that came up, I would be able to cover myself with the wild card. There's obviously also the idea that a lot of the players that we will be transferring in the initial weeks will be forwards that come into form. So, for example, if Armstrong at Southampton, he looks really good in the first couple of games, I perhaps want to bring him in anyway. So if Wilson or Antonio gets injured, that will just give me a really good excuse to bring in an informed striker. Maybe Tony is the informed striker. Maybe Pukki's the informed striker. Maybe Jimenez, when his fixtures turn around and get a little bit better, he becomes the informed striker. So there's every possibility that even if in a worst case scenario one of them gets injured, there's going to be a ready-made replacement that I perhaps be looking to get anyway that I can bring in. So there you go. That's my thinking. It's a little bit of a risk, but I like a little bit of a risk, an occasional risk in my team. So let's bring up the bench. We have got Steele, who is going to deputise for Sanchez, certainly in the initial period. I should probably memorise the other goalkeeper at Brighton, who Brighton have signed this Dutch goalkeeper, who is kind of young, has not really played much top level professional football. He's kind of been signed from the youth team at Ajax. So his name's like Schreppen or something like that. I don't think he's going to come in and be the second choice goalkeeper immediately. I do imagine Steele is going to deputise at the start. So we are going to stick with Steele as the backup goalkeeper in the unfortunate case that Sanchez gets injured or suspended. Steele should just come straight in. I don't think that the other goalkeeper is going to become the second goalkeeper immediately. I think he's more of a long-term project at Brighton, to be honest. So for that reason, I'm happy to go for Steele, but there is every chance I change that to Foster. So just a pre-warning, guys, I might do a last-minute change and go for Foster. We've got Brownhill, who we've identified in videos before. It's the best 4.5 million midfield option. He's going to be playing kind of behind the striker for Burnley, and he is going to get a few opportunities to score. We do think he might get a few goals and assists throughout this season, so that makes him a pretty nice backup to have on the bench. We've got Luke Ayling, who is a 4.5 million defender. He's probably going to come in for Tsimikas sort of in game week 3. Just when Leeds' fixtures get a little bit nicer, we are going to want to bring in Ayling into the team. So he's there in reserve, ready to go when needed. And finally, Omobama Dele, the greatest name in FPL this year, the greatest name in the Premier League, that's for sure. And he's been playing so much in pre-season for Norwich. He's kind of been the standout minutes accumulator in the Norwich pre-season. He played all of the end of last season for Norwich, and if Norwich moved to a 3 at the back formation, which there is a lot of indication that Norwich will move to a 3 at the back formation, Omobama Dele is going to be playing pretty much every single game for Norwich. So for a 4 million defender, to get that 4 million defender who's going to be playing every game, I know Norwich's fixtures aren't great immediately. We're not going to call on Omobama Dele immediately, but in the future, if we did need him as cover, Tsimikas, if Robertson comes back, Tsimikas isn't playing, Ayling gets injured or something terrible happens, we have got that in reserve. But very unlikely that we'll be needing to call upon Omobama Dele, but it's nice to have a little bit of thought gone into it just in case. Now, on to captains. I'm not going to waste your time with this one, guys. Salah's going to be captain against Norwich. It's a sensible move. Don't overthink it. Salah captain against Norwich, and then Bruno against Leeds is going to be the vice captain. Lovely job. Easy stuff. Yeah, like I say, no really need to overthink these. These are quality football players. Salah is one of the best football players to ever play in the Premier League, and he's playing against a newly promoted team. Last time this happened, it went very well. Salah scored a couple of goals. So, Salah scored a hat-trick in the opening game of last season when they played a newly promoted team. it goes well. It happens. So yeah, Salah I really like for a captain. I don't think there's any point in overthinking that. But something you guys may have noticed that I have left 0.5 million in the bank, and I will touch on that very briefly. Now, obviously, I could spend that. I could upgrade Bamadelli to another 4.5 million defender. Could upgrade Tsimikas to another 4.5 million defender. I could upgrade Benrahma to a 6.5 million midfielder. I could upgrade Greenwood to an 8 million midfielder, and so on and so forth. But isn't that kind of the point? That's kind of the point. So I've got that 0.5 million in the bank to be flexible with. If a player emerges, if Harvey Barnes, obviously it would be a downgrade, but if Rafinha looks really good, I can easily make the switch, Benrahma up to Rafinha. If a 4.5 million defender emerges as a really good option, like Ait-Nouri at Wolves or something, very, very easy to upgrade Tsimikas or Bamadelli up to the 4.5 million Ait-Nouri. If a player rises in price, I've got who have I got if I could use as an example? Okay, I've got Bruno Fernandes. Say Bruno Fernandes starts off the season horribly, but Kevin De Bruyne starts off the season amazingly. Kevin De Bruyne moves up and goes up in price to 12.1 million. Then I'm going to be stuck if I don't have any money in the bank. But with 0.5 in the bank, I can move Bruno up to the 12.1 million of KDB. Just another example, but I'm just trying to explain the flexibility that I'm given by holding that 0.5 million in the bank. Yes, I could use it now. If I was to use it now, I would be using it on my bench. So not really too bothered about doing that. I'm pretty happy to hold the 0.5 and spend it later. And just have a little bit of fun with it later when the time is needed, and I can have that extra flexibility because there is so much flexibility in this team with the price points and everything like that. So yeah, really happy with this team, guys. I hope you like this team as well. Let me know what you think. Hopefully I have touched on all of the necessary points, but if you do have any more questions, I'll try and answer them in the comments. So do put those comments in the comment section. But there we go, guys. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please do like the video. Please do subscribe as well. Like I said, I'm going to be doing these videos every single week throughout the season. Let you know what my final team is for the game week. Guys, I am also going to be streaming tomorrow morning. So if you're around tomorrow morning, early afternoon, I'm going to be doing like an early deadline stream thing that maybe you guys would like to ask some any final questions, and we'll just talk about FPL, the final bits and bobs for FPL tomorrow. That should be pretty exciting as well. Loads of other content on my channel. If you have some time, you want to go check out my backlog. There's so much preseason content on my channel, so please do go check that out as well. But aside from that, guys, thank you so much for watching this final team selection for Game Week 1. Really excited to get going. I'm hoping your teams are shaping up well as well, and I'll see you later, mates. Bye-bye.